We want to return to the true self, our instincts, our natural instincts. It's hard work. It's called shadow work. You see, we have the persona, that's the image we present to the world. We want people to see us a certain way, okay? It's not exactly fake, but it's a facade. It's something we've constructed to be liked, to be appreciated. Okay, that's the persona. But then you have the shadow. The shadow is everything we've repressed. Think back to all the perceptions you've had since you were a baby till now. Trillions and trillions and trillions of perceptions. Obviously, they can't all be conscious. Most of it is repressed. It could be culturally repressed, like if it's something wrong but the culture agrees with it, it's repressed. If it's something which contradicts our facade or persona, we usually repress it. If we have a persona that we're hardworking, we're going to repress elements that show us as lazy. If our persona shows us as likable, we're going to repress things that show us as arrogant, things like that. Everything we've repressed, things we've done we're not proud of or horribly ashamed of, we repress it out of consciousness. Most of consciousness is repressed. It becomes subconscious. That's called our shadow. Shadow work is when we face our shadow, bring it up to consciousness, deal with it. We're all sinners. We repent of it, it's gone, and now we have control. Now we have released energy because it takes so much energy to keep things unconscious. It's beneath the neck in images, holographic images. It's called galvanic skin response, GSR. Memory is stored beneath the neck. It's all through the body. So when we do shadow work, it can be very exhausting. You're bringing up things you haven't faced. And I remember I slept for 3 days. I was so tired. And not only that, the body aches, extreme body aches, because the memory is releasing from tissue, literally. And everything is reassembling in the somatype, the body. It's stored in the body. Everything is reassembling. I ached so much I could hardly get out of bed. Every joint. I thought, am I getting old? Or why am I so sore from head to foot? That was shadow work. Everything reassembles. You bring up things that are repressed. It hurts. It's embarrassing. It causes guilt and shame. Shadow work is not easy. Now, Carl Jung, who was a colleague of Freud, he had a thriving practice dealing with this, which is called archetypal psychiatry. When he started shadow work, his whole life changed. He went into the unconscious, a whole new world. It just shatters everything you've ever known when you dip into the unconscious. He stopped his work, and he devoted like years to just what he was doing. Shadow work. It's a big deal. And as I said, I was very in painful joints. I was so exhausted, sleeping all the time. And then as you continue on throwing light on things that were embedded in the shadow, suddenly you get that energy back. Because it takes so much energy to hide things from yourself, to put them in, out of memory, that you get that energy back. Not at first, as I say, you go into exhaustion. If you look up shadow work, you'll see all the people, what they go through with it. But then suddenly, it was really, I had a different consciousness. I didn't care so much how people saw me. I didn't care anymore about proving myself. Everything changed in my consciousness. It wasn't exactly losing motivation, but redirection. Everything was much smoother in my body because you had released like chunks of memory, like concrete, reassembling. The body returns to pure instinct, like behind. Pure instinct, not made up reality, not the concrete of socialized reality, but pure reality. Life becomes more flowing. Creative instinct is immediate. You get along much better with people. Your health improves remarkably. I couldn't believe how much my health improved. Not having to hold on to all these unconscious memories. You'll remember things that happened when you were 5, when you were 7, when you were 13. And it's just an amazing journey. Shadow work. You have to integrate the shadow to have power. Otherwise, you're a victim of all of your tactics you use to be part of society, to get along with people, the phony tactics of the persona. And you get a much more authentic persona too, because it's more real. You don't have so much invested in fakery. There is no more fakery. It's just reality. Strange thing about shadow work, which is very necessary and which 99% of people don't ever do. They live in a made-up, contrived reality their whole life. They never look at these things. They want to, as men call it, compartmentalize things and never look at them again. But if you want to do shadow work, just realizing that you do have an unconsciousness, which is the shadow, things you've shelved away, that starts the process. It was amazing just by realizing, okay, there's parts of my unconscious that I haven't looked at, that I haven't accepted, and now I'm going to do it. That was enough. That started the process. And I have been doing shadow work for months by intrusive thoughts about the past. Remembering events, remembering things that angered me. Anger would come up. And I didn't know what was happening. I thought it was PTSD. I thought it was just constant intrusive thoughts. I was going to get a therapist. I didn't know why. I was just burdened by the past constantly. They'd pop up at the most inopportune moments. That was shadow work that was starting. I had come to the phase of my life where God wanted me to integrate all this so that I could have power to do His work the rest of my life. Because you don't have power if you're hiding from yourself. It takes too much energy to hold it down. You want to release that energy. Einstein proved it's all just energy at different rates of speed. Blocked energy is illness. That is disease. All disease is obstruction. All recovery is elimination. All success will then be attraction. You got to clear it out to attract. It's called pneumaticity. Make a space that you can attract. It's like a magnet. You'll attract everything in if you make a space first. The space is created by dead memories, old carcasses, a tomb. Like Jesus said, the Pharisees were old white dead men's tombs. No, clear out the tombs, the ancient, demons that have been there. I remember when I was 5, I was terrified to be alone. My parents would be in the TV room watching a show, and I would huddle right next to the door because I was too afraid to be in my bedroom. Demons. There were demons in my life at a very early age. I think it was because it was an alcoholic household. That's a conduit to the devil. And I took on these demons in total fear. So, you clear out these ancient things, ancient debris, the debris theory of disease. Clear it out. Now attract all. Mass attractions to the true self, which you have now found. I built my true self by finding out what I don't want. All those years in the desert, in the wilderness, was finding out what I don't want. I don't want interruption. I don't want chaos. I don't want crowds. I don't want people around unless I've selected them. You see, Chaos. It took me years in the wilderness to find out what I don't want. I found that when I was alone, I was as happy as it could possibly be. And then somebody would come, it would be chaos. Okay, you find out what you don't want. Finding the true self isn't by adding things. It's by eliminating, finding out, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, I don't want that. And it takes sometimes tragedy to find that out, to clear it out, to clear out the obstruction. Once you face the past, God doesn't want to remember it. He says it in the Bible. He doesn't want to remember it. He sees you as, when friends bring up the past, God sees them as lying because he remembers it no more. You see? He died to erase the past. Erase it. But it's still in there in memory. It's got to come up to go out. Come up, illuminate, go out. Now it doesn't exist. Now it's buried at the bottom of the ocean, as far as east is from west. But first, you have to recognize it. And then you learn from that. You learn so much from shadow work. What that poor soul in you had to go through. What I had to go through as an immature person. Finding out what I didn't want was pure hell. The chaos of other people, immature people, invading me because I had better pot or something that they wanted, or I was a good hostess, or I had things cooking on the stove all the time, or I had a warm, inviting home, or whatever it was, attracted people constantly. And that was pure hell on earth for me. Desiring solitude more than anything. Feel sorry for your younger self, your immature self, for what you had to go through to recognize the obstruction. Most people are buffeted by constant relational noise. It's noise and chaos all the time, and they've adapted to that. And they think that's normal. And they never find the true self. They have done so many things that they've made unconscious because the culture said it was okay, the family said it was okay, but it wasn't okay. But they made it unconscious, and they're walking bricks. Okay, constant chaos, and they have it their whole life. And when they get too old for the party scene, then they don't know what to do. Now they're hooked onto television, anything to create constant noise. There are some people who have the TV on all day, commercials too. I mean, at least turn off the commercials. But they won't do that. They just need the noise. That's the human race. But when you find your true self, you want to go deep inside. You don't want the outer noise anymore. In the absence of external demands, the psyche becomes very sensitive to falseness. You can see people's falseness in their facade, in their persona right away. Whereas before, you took it for granted as normal. It was your mundanity, your mundane world. Now, you can see it immediately. A healed empath who took on all that crap, who absorbed people all his life. When he's healed, it's like this. You're fake, get out of here. And now they start to select. They can't just be open doors to anybody who wants to come in. They have to select now because they are not about to return to all that noise. The healed empath is no longer anesthetized by constant connection. Look at people. They're always on their phone. Constant connection. That's not it. It's not an outer journey. It's an inner journey, which is a journey to the true self and God who created that unique self. It's a journey of adventure and enlightenment, of synchronicity, of miracles. You see, when you start shadow work, the synchronicity goes way up. In times of transition, where you have magic coincidences happen all the time. Jung commented on this. quite a bit. Synchronicity goes way up. What a miracle that is. What a miracle. What a miracle. Turning accidents into miracles. Accidents happen and you turn them into a miracle. It's just an amazing journey. But synchronicity is going to go way down if you're surrounded by people all the time. Connection. The world values connection. I remember a woman, a feminist, said, "You're not connected, Karen. You're not at all connected." Like I was inferior because I didn't have friends. I just wanted to be alone in the desert. I just wanted to explore my inner realm. I just wanted to read and study and see the miracles and take walks in the sun and look at the mountain vistas and play with my pets. And I didn't want all that. And when people came, the miracles stopped. The sense of wonderment stopped. Wow. I'm so glad to be out of the desert. Literally and figuratively, metaphorically. I was in the desert. I was in the wilderness of my life. Literally on 1,000 acres in a tiny cabin, commuting by bicycle in 120-degree heat. I didn't care because I was alone. And after going through a dysfunctional home, an alcoholic home, with busybody sisters, people always, getting into my life, spreading my business all around, no boundaries at all, the dysfunctional home. I just wanted my tiny cabin, built in 1930. It was like a shack, but to me it was like a mansion. The healed empath is not so much isolated from others, but isolated from unconscious patterns. Most people are unconscious. They follow a cultural script or a family script, and it's just by rote. Like Jesus said, they know not what they do. It's unconscious. I don't want any more unconscious patterns. I'm not going to be the victim of that. Cultural scripts change, they evolve. And if you're part of that march, that drum beat, you got to adapt. If you don't adapt, they'll call you names. I don't want that. People who are whole and healed are the same throughout history. But people who are unconscious are in trends. They're different throughout history. I don't want that. I don't want to be in trend. You know what? The absence of friends doesn't feel like loss. It feels like space. They were always dropping by. They were always judging what I was doing, giving advice I wasn't asking for. Innuendos, gossip. The absence of friends is space. And now attract a couple really good friends with depth. Not a bunch. In this culture, you are judged as worthy by the quantity of people you know. How many people you know? Isn't that ridiculous? Superficial, shallow connections. I don't want it. I don't want it. That whole scene I never got into. And they judged me ruthlessly in the desert. It was a liberal town, a social town. There was no fences around homes. People just would drop in. It was a very social town. And I was judged harshly because I wasn't part of those connections. I didn't want that. I wanted my own space. Boy, I'm glad I relocated. It was the best thing I ever did. It's not isolation, it's preparation. God has a wonderful thing for you to do in the future. I don't care how old you are. A wonderful thing. He's preparing you by isolating you. When people drop off, hallelujah, it's God. He wants to prepare you. He doesn't want you to be distracted by people. People come and go, they die, they move away, they lose interest. It's God you want. Don't look at anything as pitiful isolation. Look at it as preparation and open up to the beautiful future. Loner empaths are not antisocial. They're anti-fusion. People fuse with each other. That's why it's so hard to break off relationships, and that's why it hurts so much with rejection, is you fused with people. You came from a fused family where there was no individuation. You were just one big blob, and now you fuse with people. So a loner is against that. He doesn't want to fuse with anybody. He's not antisocial. He's anti-fragmentation, because when the true self fuses with people, it fragments. It has to fit this group, it has to fit that group. Can't say this, can't say that. No, We're not antisocial. We're anti-fusion. I love the joys of solitude. Thank God I have a husband who feels the same way. We have two offices. He loves his solitude, I love mine, and we protect each other. That's a saintly marriage. Okay, the joy of solitude. But for 20 years, I had to defend it to people. I had to defend it to churches. I had joined some false churches. They would come over angrily that I was so alone all the time, that was like I didn't love God. Their attitude was, if you loved God, you'd be with us. How does that make any sense? I'd say, you're not God. Your social events are not God. Your potlucks are not God. That's you just wanting me to, conform to you. Being home alone is God. They wanted to know why I wanted to be alone all the time. Were you hiding something, or there must be something wrong with you? I had to defend my solitude. You see, that's the world. That's the devil. You can't just be with yourself to think about God. Oh, that's evil. Individuation, in a Jungian sense, is not so much self-improvement as it is self-recovery, okay? Eliminating everything else. You're recovering how you were born, your true self, before you fragmented trying to adapt to that society, that culture, that family, that milieu, that era. It's all different. You see, you fragmented. So we want to recover the true, authentic self before it was messed up by the world. Okay? That's what individuation is. It's not about learning new techniques or improvement like that. Although you will improve. After you do shadow work, your health will improve remarkably. You become a totally different person. Everything is smooth. The joints don't hurt anymore. You have energy. But it's recovery of who you are. Now, as you heal, you're going to get vision. You're going to see through people. And that will be a threat to those who are spiritually blind. Those who have made their, absurd reality mundane, acceptable. And everything has gone unconscious. They're just unconscious about everything. They are going to really rebel against your vision. You may have to be like me and just relocate, because it's disruptive. They want you like you used to be. How come you can't be like you used to be? What happened to you? You used to be agreeable. Now you're disagreeable. Think of all the people, brilliant people, who have become shells of nothing just to adapt to other people. Think of that. And some people are really dumb, and you're entrapped in a system. You can have a dumb boss, a dumb family, a dumb spouse, a dumb network, and you've grown way beyond it, and you've got a brilliant mind, an artistic, creative mind, but you've become an empty shell. And in fact, I'll go so far as to say they become the worst of the lot. The more brilliant you are, the more dysfunctional you become in casting out these pearls of yourself to adapt to a nothing system. You become much worse, maybe even mentally ill, maybe even a drunkard in the gutter, in order to adapt to that. Because it's hard to go blind once you have vision. And what about when you become a beacon to those trapped in unconscious family systems? You're going to have the whole tribe against you. They may run you out of town. That's the way it used to be. If somebody was awake and they get a hold of a family member and they wake up suddenly, they'll all come against that person who's awake and make him the enemy. Tribalism will come against that person. It can be a dangerous thing, waking up to reality. People who break off from dysfunctional family systems have a vision that nobody else can because they've experienced pain that others will never know. Breaking off, healing, facing your shadow, and waking up, finding the true self, is wisdom beyond anything you can get in a school or anything else. Deep nuances, covert meanings, reading between the lines, reading body language. That was a matter of survival in a family system like that. What does it mean when somebody takes too long to answer? What does it mean, those footsteps that are coming to my door? All these things have covert meanings that you are an expert now. You are an expert in body language. You are an expert in what that raised eyebrow means. Yeah. You have wisdom beyond anything that anybody can get in a Ph.D. program or anything else. They know what it means to fight for your own survival. Yeah, because overcoming a system like that is a matter of psychic survival. And you understand pain in a way nobody else can. That's how deep this is. Imagine a baby, an open book, adapts to a system. Whole body fills with memory and a shadow in order to adapt. That's the first thing in that machine. That's how that machine is built. To disassemble that machine and remove all the bad elements and to become clear makes that person a wellspring of wisdom that others will never have.